You should never outstay your welcome, and the same can be said about Premier League footballers. So let's take a look at each Premier League club's player who's been with the club longer than maybe they should have been. Arsenal's Shkodran Mustafi. No matter how many managers he has, Shkodran Mustafi is not going to get better at defending. Despite boasting a World Cup winners medal, the German centre-half has severely struggled in England, with catastrophic mistakes damaging his reputation beyond repair. Mustafi moved to the Emirates in 2016, and in the fourth year of his Arsenal career, it's probably time he packed his bags. Even under Mikel Arteta, Mustafi isn't going to enjoy a renaissance period. Aston Villa Neil Taylor. When Villa went down to the Championship, they oversaw a massive turnaround of players. One man who dropped down the divisions to join the East Midlands outfit was Neil Taylor, who had enjoyed a solid few seasons in the top flight with Swansea. But at Villa, Taylor never really hit the heights, even in the second tier. He's still with them in the Premier League, unable to even get a game now, so it seems like it would be best that the Welshman decided to move on for pastures new. Bournemouth Jordan Ibe. A few years ago it seemed like Jordan Ibe had the world at his feet. He was the second coming of Raheem Sterling even before the Man City ace was out of nappies. But while Sterling is now one of the Premier League's best, Ibe is a story of what might have been. Bournemouth paid Liverpool £15 million for the winger in 2016, where it looked like he would get the minutes he really needed to kick on. And while he has got those minutes, he hasn't kicked on at all. The end product just isn't there, and maybe Ibe would be better served trying his luck in the Championship. Brighton Gaëtan Bong. If he didn't have a funny name, people probably would forget all about Gaëtan Bong. The left back did well for Brighton in the Championship, but as the Seagulls have grown accustomed to life in the Premier League, the calibre of player of the Amex has improved. And because of that, Bong has played less and less each passing year, and now under Potter, Bong is further away from the starting 11 than ever before, which probably suggests that his time at the club should come to an end. Burnley Kevin Long. The Irish defender has been a Burnley player for a long time, joining the Clarets in 2010. Despite a 10-year association with the club, Long has never played more than 16 league games in a season for Burnley. He's 29 now, forever destined to never be a starter at Turf Moor. So why is he still there? Does he give some of the lads a lift to training? Or does he just know something we don't about Sean Dyche? Something just doesn't add up here. Chelsea Pedro. Once upon a time, Pedro was a Spanish sensation, not looking out of place at Barcelona alongside the greatest of all time, Lionel Messi. But in 2020, Pedro's career has never been more uncertain. He's had some great times at Chelsea and scored some great goals, but this season's been as tough as at Stamford Bridge, really struggling to get a game under Frank Lampard amidst his young Blues revolution. At 32, Pedro still has a lot to offer, but it shouldn't be at Chelsea. Crystal Palace Christian Benteke. If you're a striker, your job's to score goals, so based on that, Christian Benteke is not doing his job at Crystal Palace. The big Belgian scored one goal in the past 2 seasons, which isn't enough for a man who cost £30 million in 2016, in fact it was more than that. Palace need to cut their losses and send him on his way, and it seems like the best thing for both parties, as right now no one's benefiting. Well, except for Benteke's bank balance. Everton Oumar Niasse. It seems like no matter what, Everton can't seem to get rid of Oumar Niasse. You'll be minding your own business watching the Toffees, and out of nowhere a rogue Oumar Niasse will come off the bench, tasked with grabbing a goal and rescuing the Merseyside outfit, which he pretty much always never does. Niasse has had 2 loan spells away from Goodison Park, but his next move needs to be a permanent one. The Senegalese striker is certainly someone who's outstayed his welcome at Goodison Park. Leicester City Matty James. I know he's had injury bother, but it baffles me that Matty James can still command a place in the Leicester squad. This is a player who was mostly used in the Championship, having joined the club in 2012. He's basically part of the furniture now, except for some reason you've got to pay the furniture. He didn't even play when they won the title, so he can't even hold on to that for relevance. Between him and Andy King, Leicester really have some players who have stayed longer than they should have. Liverpool Nathaniel CLYNE. When the Reds signed Nathaniel CLYNE, he was a wonderful player, the latest in a long line of players to come from Southampton and thrive at Anfield. But now it's 2020 and Trent Alexander-Arnold is allowed to stay up as late as he wants, and things are even better at Anfield. Trent can stake a strong claim to be the world's best right back, meaning CLYNE is never going to get a chance under Klopp ever again. His time is well and truly up on Merseyside. Manchester City Claudio Bravo. You can see the fear on the faces of the empty seats at the Etihad when Claudio Bravo plays instead of Ederson. I mean, even as recent as the Everton game he was pissing about, got too cocky and cost his side a goal, then Ellie ended up drawing that game because of it. Bravo is a veteran who's done a lot in the game, but his time at the top is up, and to be honest it has been ever since he joined Pep Guardiola in Manchester. Manchester United, Phil Jones. When Phil Jones emerged onto the scene at Blackburn, he was tipped as the next John Terry, so it was no surprise when Manchester United swooped in. It looked like they'd even signed a future captain. But this is now Jones' 9th season at Old Trafford, and his stock is arguably lower than it's ever been. A few years ago he was just known for silly faces. Now he can't even get on the pitch to pull those faces, and it's frankly shocking that he survived so long at Manchester United. Newcastle United, Henri Saivet. Once a football manager wonder kid, Henri Saivet is now just living in Newcastle really. He doesn't play, he just shows up for training when he has to, has a laugh with the lads, and then goes home. But how long can he do that for? Henri Saivet's Newcastle career has been nothing short of embarrassing, and needs to come to an end this month, for both the player and the club. Norwich City, Louis Thompson. I very nearly said Louis Tomlinson there, he's a very different man. But Louis Thompson is a midfielder Norwich signed in 2014, and 6 years on he hasn't really made his presence known. He's 25 and spent the start of the season on loan in League One, which probably tells you everything you need to know. Sorry Louis, but Norwich might be a set above where you're at now, and you've had long enough to prove you belong. Sheffield United, Leon Clarke. In the Championship, Leon Clarke was kind of passable. He'd have done a job if called upon, but Sheffield United are a class above now. They've proven they belong in the Premier League, all the while leaving the veteran Leon Clarke without a game. He's 34 now, and it's probably best he return to the Football League, where he'll know he can still score some goals, something he isn't getting a chance to do in the Prem. Southampton, Oriol Romeu. There was a time that Oriol Romeu was tipped for greatness, a Chelsea star in the making who slipped through the net at Barcelona. But in 2020, which is his 5th season in Southampton, Romeu was less influential than he's ever been. Ralph Hasenhüttl demands high energy from his players, which is something Romeu just doesn't have, so something's got to give. And with the Saints playing much better now, there's no way Hasenhüttl's going to be the one that leaves. Tottenham, Christian Eriksen. This seems like an odd choice as Christian Eriksen is a fantastic footballer who still has a lot to offer Tottenham, but if he isn't willing to sign a new deal, what's the point? If he's not going to sign, he needs to go now. Spurs need to get some money for him, rather than lose him for nothing and have a player collecting a paycheck with no guarantee he'll give his all between now and the summer. Watford, Isaac's success. A success he is not. Yes, class joke, get in. Isaac's success has been with Watford since 2016, but the fact he's only scored 2 Premier League goals shouldn't be lost on anyone. Considering the turnover of players at Vicarage Road, I'm actually shocked the Nigerian is still a Hornet. Either way, it's time he wasn't a Hornet. West Ham, Winston Reid. You'd be forgiven forgetting that Winston Reid was still a hammer. The scorer of the final ever goal at Upton Park, Winston Reid has spent the past 2 years injured, ending a decade as a hammer on the treatment table. He was once tipped for the top in the Premier League, but his stock is so low now, which is what happens when you physically can't play. He's now back in the fold, but is it maybe too late for a career renaissance at the London Stadium? And finally Wolves, John Ruddy. A harsh final selection, as Wolves have a strong streamlined squad that doesn't really need any trimming. So the only player we could suggest at Overstayed is welcome is John Ruddy, the man who kept net during Wolves' title-winning campaign en route to the Premier League. But he's been second fiddle ever since, with Wolves doing Portugal number 1 Rui Patricio to Molineux. Ruddy is good enough to be a number 1 and should seek that elsewhere. So that's every Premier League club's player who's overstayed their welcome. Let us know who you think yours is in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.